All right. Om. सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधिता भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Okay. So in the last class, we have started chapter 2. Chapter 2 is Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya philosophy is very famous, but Sankhya in general means logical. You can take it that way. This is what is the truth behind. So we have seen that in the chapter 1, Arjuna gave up the will to fight and he sat down on his chariot with his Gandiva and his arrows, everything, all weapons. He just kept it down and he sat down. So the whole idea, what we have seen of that particular chapter was that a disease of samsara has striken Arjuna. Disease of samsara, samsara of attachment, attachment leading to the sorrow, sorrow leading to moha. Moha is when ignorance overtakes the mind, a person will automatically make wrong judgments, wrong call he takes. So in chapter 2, Sanjaya starts tam tatha krupaya vishtam ashnupurna kulekshanam vishidantamidam vakyam uvacha madhusudhara. So he started. So after so many verses we have seen, Krishna started talking finally. But what we see is he again stops. He doesn't continue. He waits for Arjuna's second phase. This is the first phase he has seen of samsara's disease. So Sanjaya is telling tam tata krupaya vishtam, as if the Arjuna is overtaken by the attachment. Krupa can be compassion, but we have seen here it is called, it is defined as the attachment. So when the weakness overtakes the mind, Arjuna similarly is with overpowered mind. He gave up. He gave up his decision to fight, and he says, "Please, Krishna, take me out of this battle. I don't want to fight anymore." And we have seen all types of justifications that Arjuna gave. And they're all correct only. Really speaking, if you go through, you will feel that everything that Arjuna told is correct, and maybe it came true later as well. However, there is something called dharma and adharma, and Krishna has come especially to establish dharma in the society. So, overpowered by these attachments, Ashrupurna Kulekshana. He is blurred vision, completely overpowered. He is full of tears, and he is not able to see clearly. Ashrupurna Kulekshana. And Shoka. This is the clearly what represents the Shoka of the Arjuna. So one is the attachment, Raga, and Shoka. And Madhusudana Idam. Idam Vakyam Madhusudana. Madhusudana is another name for Lord Krishna because he killed a demon called Madhu when he was very young. That we see in the Bhagavatam as such. Yeah. So in chapter 2, 2.2, the second verse, Bhagavan has started talking. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kutasva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupasthitam Anarya Yushtamasvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. So Krishna started whipping Arjuna out of this state of moha. He is a charioteer. So when horses don't behave as a charioteer, he uses the whip to bring them in line. So it appears to be a similar attempt by Krishna to bring him out of this mindset to start with. So he uses some very, very harsh words against Arjuna. Arjuna, we must understand, is a very celebrated warrior of those times. One of the best, or maybe the best. Although there's always some people will come out and say maybe Karna would have been better, etc. But anyway, he is one of the best warriors, best archer of his time. And not only best archer, but with an attitude to fight. He is known for his bravery. He has conducted many, many wars on behalf of his elder brother, King Yudhishthira, and occupied many, many lands on his behalf. So such a person, suddenly he has become moha, means completely overtaken by this wrong notions. So Bhagavan is waking him up, so to say. So Bhagavan Uvacha, Lord Krishna says, Kutastva Kashmalamidam. From where this Kashmalam, this impurity has come as such, this dejection, where from this has come? I'm really surprised, he says, in a way. So Anarya Jushtam Aswargyam. Anarya Jushtam. So Arya, we have discussed this term before in the last class, that Arya doesn't mean a race of people who came from somewhere, Iran or maybe even mid of Asia. Arya is a term that is always used, and it is defined in our Rig Veda as well. So Arya is somebody who follows dharma, the actions that are the right actions that are required to be done, irrespective of whether that gives him pleasure or pain. We have seen that in society, any cultured person always follows what is right. Doesn't mean that he likes it or she likes it, doesn't matter. Even in a very small way, in a bus, when you get in, and there are limited number of seats, and you see an old person coming in, you get up and ask the person to sit down. This is Arya's behavior. Not that they will enjoy the rest of the journey. Obviously, they will have to hold on to something available so that they don't fall off. It is not really a pleasant experience after that by giving up that seat, but society recognizes a cultured person always behaves right, irrespective of what it means in terms of his or her personal experience. So he says, Anarya Jushtam. I don't think it will be entertained by the noble people what you are doing. And there is something as well, we see that as a Kshatriya, Arjuna had certain role to play in the society. He is the king. He is one of the kings, and he requires to be the person who will protect dharma. That is part and parcel of his very nature. It should be asvargyam. But even if he says, Krishna says, even if you think that what you are doing is noble, because you are saving so many of your relatives, so much of bad things happening to the society. You think you are doing a punya karya. So don't think that is what you are doing is correct, because you are a kshatriya, and if you don't follow your path, what will come is not swarga. Because normally what we think is, if we are doing good things, it will take care of me after my death and I will go to heavens. He says asvargyam. He will not lead to the heaven. Akirtikaram Arjuna. Even if you think that this will give you name and fame here, so don't think that will also happen. So neither it will help you in this life, nor it will help you after life. So it is asvargyam, akirtikaram, and anarya jushtam. Especially it is not in line like a cultured person that you are. You are an educated person, you are a cultured person, you are an Arya Purusha, and what you are doing is anarya jushtam. No Arya will entertain you, no Arya will praise you for withdrawing from the war at this stage. And samupastitam, where from this vishame samupastitam. It's a wrong moment for you to choose this type of thinking process. Anarya jushtam, samupastitam, vishame. Tvam vishame samupastitam. So he's, as I mentioned, he's kind of whipping up Arjuna to come out of this state of dejection. Why it is so? Because he tells in verse 3rd, Klaibyam masma gamapartha naitatva yupapajyate shraddham hrudaya daurbalyam bhaktyatishtat parantapa. Parantapa. Parantapa can be taken as one who has done lot of tapas. Yeah, Parantapaha. Or Parantapaha. Here it is more, the Parantapa is more like one who has scorched his enemies. So he is known for his bravery. He has fought many wars, and he is also a person who actually fought with Lord Shiva when he did his tapas for Pashupatastra. Pashupatastra, that is the weapon of Lord Shiva. He specially obtained it for killing Karna, knowing that Karna has got lots of such boons from his guru. He did special tapas, knowing that there will be a war, and he will have to tackle such people like Karna and Bhishma. So he has done so much work in terms of practice, and that is where Klaibyam Masma Gamapartha Naitatva Upapajyate. Naitatva Upapajyate. So he says it does not befit you. What you are displaying here does not befit you. You are Arjuna, not somebody who is a small time king as well. You are Arjuna, and Masmagama. Do not let this unmanliness take over. Clybium we have seen is called unmanliness or indecisive state. Don't let this indecisive state overtake you, and na upapajyate. It does not befit you. And tvai tvaktya, having given up shraddham, kshudram hrudaya daurbalyam. He says, give up this hrudaya daurbalyam, faint-heartedness. Give up this particular faint-heartedness, uttishta. You will find this Krishna telling again and again, uttishta, get up. Don't sit like this as if you cannot act. It doesn't befit you. Parantapa, oh Arjuna, don't sit like this and unnecessarily create this particular scene here. It doesn't befit you. You are Arjuna. And it is not as if he is fighting Kauravas for the first time. In the previous chapters of Mahabharata, you will find that Arjuna actually already fought along with Uttara Kumara. He fought with the same set of people, Bhishma, Drona, all the Kauravas, everybody, he already fought once. And Krishna knew that this is only a temporary stillness. But so he did not start the teaching immediately. He is waiting for Arjuna to complete a couple of more steps in terms of getting ready to gain the knowledge, so to say. What do I mean by that? The idea is that first is that a person goes through such a state of moha. And when that happens, the person should recognize that there is something wrong with what my thinking is. He must come out with that statement, and then he should seek help. These two are the important steps for a mindset that will allow one to absorb any teaching. So once you are in such a state of moha and you are sitting and you are just telling that, okay, you tell, you may give 100 advice to such a people, but those people will not come out of it. So when moha overtakes your mind, it is impossible for a person to come out unless there is a self effort which is there within to say that, okay, this is what I'm thinking, but I may be wrong. Why I may be wrong? Because not all indications are supporting within my thinking process. And also, what I read in the Shastras is not in line with what my current thinking is. Once a person has these two steps, that is recognition of his moha and his coming out and seeking help, unless these two steps are complete, and you will find that in children as well, our own children, when they are in a state of certain moha, they don't come out of it that easily. We may tell, we may advise, but advice just flies out. Yeah, they hear from here and leave it from the other ear. We keep hearing this stuff in the society. So here Krishna is waiting still, so he has not started the Gita. We have come up to this in the last class. So here we'll go through verse 2.4 now. So in verse 2.4, Arjuna starts again. So Krishna is right in terms of not starting the class because Arjuna is not complete. His rant is not complete. He is now coming out with the further things. He says, Arjuna uvacha, Arjuna uvacha, Katham bhishmamaham sankhe, Dronam cha madhusudana. Katham bhishmamaham sankhe, Dronam cha madhusudana. Ishubhi pratiyotsyami, Pujarha varisudana. Ishubhi pratiyotsyami, Pujarha varisudana. So Arjuna comes out with the second set of justifications that why I should not fight this war. And really speaking, if you go through Arjuna's logic, people may think that what he is telling is absolutely true. You know, why is Krishna resisting? Why is he not stopping the war? Might be the thinking one may get, but really speaking, as we already seen before, it is the question of dharma and adharma. So Arjuna is now telling Katham Bhishma. He is addressing Krishna in two names here. One is called Madhusudana, one who killed the Madhu. Madhu, the demon, we have already seen this one. He is telling, "O Krishna, Katham Aham, how can I? Aham is I, Katham, how can? How can I Pratiyotsyami? Pratiyotsyami is fighting against. Uh, Pratiyotsyami can also mean, a bit more that how can I reply back to people like Bhishma and Drona? They may put arrows on me. I'm younger person. Out of respect, I will say, okay, maybe they are teaching something. But how can I put arrows against? Prati is against a person who is like Bhishma and Drona. Bhishma Pratiyotsyami Pujarham Bhishma ya Dronacha. Bhishmam and Dronam. Bhishma and Drona. Bhishma is the grandsire of Kuru dynasty, and Arjuna is he was brought up by people like Bhishma. And Drona is his own guru who taught him the uh, art of archery. So he says, Katham katham aham pratiyotsyami pujarhai Bhishma and Drona. Pujarhai, one who should be worshipped. How can I put arrows against people like Bhishma and Drona who are pujarhas? I require to worship adorable Bhishma and Drona. How can I do that? He says, Sankhye Ishubihi. Sankhye in this war. It's not Sankhya, it is Sankhya. Sankhye Ishubihi. In this war, Ishubihi is arrows. How can I put arrows? Pratiyotsyami Arisudhana. Arisudhana, O Krishna, Arisudhana is the one who killed his enemies. Enemies were killed by Krishna, many of them. So he has got another name here, we see, which is called Arisudhana. So in a way, Arjuna is trying to, by using the names of Madhusudhana and Arisudhana, he's telling that I am surprised that you are asking me to kill my own grandfather, my own guru, my own relatives. I agree that you killed, but you killed only your enemies. These are not my enemies. These are my relatives. These are my people whom I loved all through my life. It is very easy for you to kill an enemy or a person, demon like Madhu, but you are asking me to now kill my own people. So this is how he is indicating that they are not real enemies to me. They are actually people who are pujarhau, worshipful. I have to adore them. I have to worship them. I have to respect them. And you are asking me to do this particular activity, which is not correct, O Madhusudana, O Arisudhana. So he is now coming out with further definition of what this pujarhau is. Yeah. In verse 2.5, we will go through. Guru nahatva hi mahanubhavan. Guru nahatva hi mahanubhavan. Shreyo bhoktum bhaikshyamapi haloke. Shreyo bhoktum bhaikshyamapi haloke. Hatvarthakamanstu guruni haiva. Hatvarthakamanstu guruni haiva. Bhunjiya bhogan rudhira pradigdhan. Bhunjiya bhogan rudhira pradigdhan. So, Arjuna is telling, ihaloke. In this world, api bhoksham bhoktum bhaiksham. Api bhoktum bhaiksham. Even to live on by begging, even to live on the alms, hi shreyaha. Hi shreyaha is indeed better. Better than what? Ahatva, than killing. Hatva means killing. Ahatva, than killing Mahanubhavan Gurun. Now he is redefining Bhishma and Drona, and many others were there in front of him, like Krupacharya, Shalya. So many people whom Arjuna revered before in his younger days. He says, Mahanubhavan Gurun. Not one, but not only my Guru Drona, but Mahanubhavas like Bhishma. How can I kill them? Ahatva. Better than killing these people is api bhoksham, bhoktum bhaiksham. By living on the arms of the people, that is better to me than killing the Mahanubhavan Gurun. Hatva Gurun too means by killing the Gurus, however, Bhunjiya iha. Bhunjiya iha means I will enjoy here. Eva Rudhira Pradigdhan. Rudhira Pradigdhan is like only the blood stained. Even if suppose you ask me to fight and I fight and kill all these people, what I enjoy here, Bhogan Ardhakaman, the pleasures of wealth and sense objects, desires, I will only enjoy this Rudhira Pradigdhan, only the blood-stained result of the war will be mine. So the type of emotions that Arjuna is bringing, you see, into the onto the plate here. So the idea of that I will, now he's coming out with a second option. He says, if you still ask me to fight this war and kill all those people because you are with me, I'm going to kill. Definitely, we are going to kill. But what will what it will result? I may get the wealth, I may get the kingdom, I may get all the sense objects, my pleasures, my desires fulfilled, etc. But I keep on remembering back to back this particular day when I had to kill all these Mahanubhavan and Gurun, and what I get is only a blood-stained pleasures, and it will not give me any pleasure at all. That is how he is coming out with. And the second option is I have to just leave and go away, and he knows that Duryodhana will not say, okay, best thing you have done. Now take half of my kingdom. It won't happen. He will have to live only on the alms by begging. Unfortunately, in the society at that particular time, only a brahmachari is allowed to beg and eat. A brahmachari, one who is still going through the phase of studies, normally used to be up to 14, 15, or maybe around 12, 13, depending upon the person. Why I'm telling? Because, for example, Rama, when he went for his schooling, Vasishta came back within a year's time and says, there is nothing that I can teach Rama. He seemed to be knowing everything well before even I utters. So there can be some people uh, like that, but really speaking, a brahmachari is the one who is still undergoing the teaching. So only those brahmacharis in those societies used to be allowed to beg. They go from house to house, and not in terms of real begging, but there, bhiksha is supposed to be a very noble activity which a gruhastha, a householder, is supposed to take care of such people. Even a sannyasi can do a bhiksha. A bhiksha is somebody who can um, rightfully ask in the society, and it is the householders who used to constitute almost 80% of the society, used to take care of these people. Even a vanaprastha. Vanaprastha is a person who is on the way to the sannyasa, the stage, the third stage of human being. A vanaprastha is supposed to be taken care by the children. So Vanaprastha normally within the family, Sannyasa doesn't have a family. Any householder is required to take care. Only these three people can depend on others for their food. So here, obviously, Arjuna is not a brahmachari. Obviously, he is not a brahmachari. He is a Mahagrahastha. He has married much more than once, and many wars he has fought, and he brought back women after fighting. So if such a person is telling my second option is only to do bhiksha, that means he is now looking at there are two ways of living, and both are not in line with my dharma. My dharma of Kshatriya, one is to fight a war. I am withdrawing from that particular war and going away. Second option I will be left with if I don't fight is doing bhiksha, and that also is not in line with my swadharma. So the swadharma of a Kshatriya is to fight the war. He is not doing it, so he is incurring a sin. If he goes away and he starts begging, another problem that bhiksha is taking food from one household. If you do it from multiple households, it becomes bhiksham. That is the only difference, bhiksha and bhiksham, that we are seeing here. So here, what Arjuna is telling is, I have two options. Both of them are, I know I will end up invoking sin. One sin is and I require to now choose between two of this. Which one is better? Whether killing Mahanubhava and Gurun, that is one sin, or leaving and going away is also a sin. So it is not as per my Swadharma, I know that. And if I do that, what will happen to the second sin that I will incur is Bhaiksham. I start begging for my food, and Bhaiksham, because I have so many people to take care, one household will not help. I require to go to more than one household, is how he is indicating. Yeah. So here, both of them are uh, not conducive, and Arjuna started feeling that there can be some wrong decisions, but he is adamant. He is not even looking at other options of going ahead and fighting. He is just telling that I cannot fight this war anymore. That is how he is looking at the um, looking at this options that he has got. Yeah. Now 2.6. Yeah. न चैतद्विद्मत्कतरन्नो गरीयः न चैतद्विद्मत्कतरन्नो गरीयः यद्वा जयेय यदि वा नो जयेयुः यद्वा जयेम यदि वा नो जयेयुः यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषामः यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषामः तेव स्थिता प्रमुखे धार्तराष्ट्राः त्येव स्थिता प्रमुखे धार्तराष्ट्राः. So here he is now coming out with cha. Moreover, na vidmaha. Na vidmaha, he is telling we don't even know. Katarat etat. Which one of these two courses? Katarat etat. Which of these two options that he has got? Gariyaha and naha is better for us. Now, still, he is not leaving his trick of including Krishna in his arguments. Here again, he is telling that we don't know which is the better one. We don't know which is the better one. What are these two courses that they have? One is by killing these people or running away from these two, and second is whether to do bhiksha, take bhiksha and follow the route of bhiksha. We don't know which is the better one or the best one in terms of it's a big conflict where my own cousins are in front of me. Yeah, it is not Arisudhana. It's not the enemies, Asuras, Madhusudhana. It's not like that. I am actually here. I will not enjoy cutting the heads of people in front of me right now. Uh, he says, Yadva Jayeyanaha. We don't know whether they will win the war or we will win the war. Yadva Jayeya, whether we will conquer them, or Yadva Jayeyu Naha, they will conquer us. We don't even know whether who will win. Te Yesha Dhatra Rashtraha. These are the Kauravas. These are my cousins who are in front of me. Yan Hatva, killing whom, he says, Na Jiji Vishamaha. We will not even desire to live. See how he has come out with that. He's telling these are Kauravas in front of me. Dhatarashtra is standing in front of me. And Na Jiji Vishamaha. We will not even desire to kill these people. Avasthita Pramukhehe. These are the people who are assembled in front of me. I don't even know whether I want to kill. Although he says we, he uses we instead of I. But generally, what he meant is, I don't even know whether I would like to kill them because these are Dhatarashtraha, these are the Kurus, these are the Kauravas who are in front of me. So, really speaking, I am in a dilemma. Yep. Krishna, in a way, I think was waiting for such a state. Means acceptance of moha, acceptance that something can be wrong has come. Why? Because suddenly when he used in the previous verse bhaiksham, that hit him that, oh my god, it doesn't seem to be right, because he recognizes his swadharma very well. He is not a uneducated person. As I mentioned in chapter one of the classes, he is a person who is a contemporary of Vedavyasa. Vedavyasa used to come to his place. He is a relative, in fact. And he used to come to, I'm sure they used to come to his place and they used to have discussions. And he is come up with people like Bhishma, Krupacharya, and Dronacharya. Yeah, when you grow up in such an environment where Krishna used to come to his place, they used to go to Krishna's place, it is for sure that he has been exposed to many of the teachings of dharma and adharma. They are not new to him. And moment he says that the only other option is bhiksham, it must have hit him that there is something wrong. I am not doing as per Swadharma has hit him, and Krishna is kind of waiting for this word that I do not know. Although the Arjuna, as I mentioned, uses the word we do not know, na vidmaha, we do not know, he says, but Krishna, I'm sure, must be waiting for him to come to this second conclusion, second stage of uncertainty. So he says, Nacha na vidmaha, we do not know. And he says, Dhratarashtraha pramukeste vastitaha. These are my people who are standing in front of me. And by killing these people, um, we do not want to live in the world. Again, he uses the word we, but he's saying, I don't even want to live after killing these people. When such a problem is there in front of me, and we don't even know whether they will win or we will win. So, yadme jayeya yadi na va no jayeyah. We do not even know whether they will defeat us or we will defeat us. And there is no point in following this path of war, is how he is coming out with. And the first line, he uses that word, nachai dvidmaha. So, I do not know whether this is correct or not. We do not know. He used the word we do not know. Kataranno gariyah. Which of the two actions that are good for me? Uh, and once this comes up, the third stage is coming in Arjuna's mindset, that he now says that he recognizes the fact that what he is doing may not be the correct, and that possibility is there that his mind is overpowered by the attachment. 2.7, verse 2.7, a very famous verse. And in some masters actually say that this is one of the very important verses of Bhagavad Gita, because unless in Vivekananda tells in his commentary on Gita that this is the most important verse as far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned. The idea is that unless a person decides that there is a problem with me and he is ready to accept that particular fact and ask for help, no change can come about. We see that people, in terms of moha, they go on and on and on. Like terrorists that we are seeing, they are in a moha. Whether the guru has told or not told, they go on and on because their mind is completely overpowered by those emotions, whatever emotions are there, and they don't come out of it. That's why he says that this is the most important verse. 2.7 is the most important verse, is how the some of the masters put it. He says, Karpanya doshopahata svabhavah. कार्पण्यदोषोपहत स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेताः यच्छेयस्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे यच्छेयस्त्रां निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम् शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम्. So here, for the first time, Arjuna recognizes the disease that he has undergone in chapter 1 and the first 6 verses of chapter 2. What he is telling is Karpanya dosho apahata swabhava. With my mind overpowered by Karpanyam. Karpanya dosha, helplessness. He recognizes the fact that his mind has been overpowered by Karpanya dosha. And Dharma sammudha chetaha. For the first time, he comes out with the fact that Dharma sammudha chetaha. And with my intellect completely deluded regarding the righteousness of my action. He says, sammudha chetaha, my actions are as if they are restricted because of Dharma sammudha chetaha. Righteousness, I don't know. I don't know whether what is right. Whether I should fight this war or I should not fight the war. Even if I fight the war, I should kill the person or I don't kill the person. If I don't do the job of fighting, whether I will be end up going to a forest and looking for the arms. I have no idea what is my right for me. I know in a way that this is not in line with my swadharma. I require to come out of it. Tvam pruchhami. Tvam pruchhami, I am asking you. For the first time, you will see that the soldier Arjuna is turning into a student Arjuna and he is telling Tvam pruchhami. I ask you, bruhitanme. Bruhitanme, tell me that which is yat syat nischitam shreya. Yat syat, which is nischitam shreya. Don't tell me that, okay, normally when we go for advice, people will tell both sides. Yeah, this appears to be good, but even if you do the other one, that also is good. He's telling, no, 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 don't confuse me any further. Already I am in a confused state. What I want is nischitam shreya. What is the best thing that is for me to do? Shreya, good thing for me. Definitely good thing for me is nischitam shreya. Aham te sishya. He is now coming out with the word that he is no longer a soldier. He is no longer a sakha. He is actually a sishya. And see, Shadhimam. Shadhi is teaching. You teach me Prapannam Tvam. Prapannam Tvam, I am surrendering to you. Prapanna is giving up to somebody. Prapannam Tvam, I am surrendering to you. You please teach me. I am your disciple. So he is telling, with my mind overpowered by helplessness, Karpanya dosha, overpowered by helplessness, my intellect completely deluded regarding the righteousness, dharma. He has used the word dharma. And he says, I ask you, decidedly tell me what is good for me. And I am your disciple, I am your sishya, teach me, and who have surrendered to you. I am surrendering it to you. Please, Krishna, nacha vidmaha. Nacha vidmaha. In the previous word, we have used nacha vidmaha, nachait vidmaha. Nachait vidmaha is a very generic term. We do not know kind of a thing. Krishna waited for one more step where Arjuna will recognize. He knew that Arjuna, with his background, with his education, he knew that Arjuna will finally turn around and come. He has been waiting for this moment in life, it appears, because the moment he says, Arjuna talks about, I am your Sishya, tell, the type of verses that we see from 11th verse onwards, when the teaching starts, highest teaching comes out of it. And that comes because Arjuna also displays these three aspects. Anybody can be bitten by the disease of samsara, but it's only a few who, with right background, come out of it and ask for help. Come out of it not in terms of knowing the solution, but knowing the helplessness of the mind for not finding the solution on their own and looking for the guru who can teach them. Yeah, this is how the Karpanya dosha can be overcome. It is not that, okay, Karpanya dosha, I recognize, now I will go and Google what is the solution. Not like that. Upahataha, he knows that he is incapacitated. There is no capacity in him to find the solution, and he cannot choose the right solution because moha has overpowered his mind, and karpanya dosho, that helplessness, that miserly confusion which is there, he is now coming and telling that I cannot do anything on my own. Please help me, oh Krishna. He is coming out in no uncertain terms. He has now surrendered to the Lord and asked him for teaching. Fortunate for us, because now Krishna will start the teaching, and he is not only he is asking for. It's not a general advice that he has asked. He is saying Nischitam Bruhitam me. Tell me what is the best for me, and what is Shreyas for me. Shreyas and Preyas, Gurudev has in the very introductory text, he comes out with the Shreyas and Preyas. There are two options for every action that we sort out for. One is called Preyas, which is pleasing to me, and other is for Shreyas, which is good to me. Especially he used to make jokes about in the morning when somebody says that okay, it is good for you. Shreyas is getting up at Brahma Muhurta and doing meditation. But obviously prayers is, oh, you sleep for a few more hours, that is nothing wrong. Instead of 4 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning doesn't have any problem. You can get up at 8 and do the meditation. Shreyash and prayers, every um, every juncture in your life, you will have this option. Guruji used to say that Shreyas and Preyas. So here, Shreyas is what is good for me. Don't tell me what is good in terms, pleasing for me in terms of my mind. What is good for me? You will find this, that Shreyas is a something word which we come across in many other places as well. And Sishya is Siksha Yogya. Siksha Yogya is Sishya. Siksha Yogya, one who is ready for the education to be imparted. He becomes Siksha. Siksha Yogya, such a person will become Sishya. And what determines the Yogyatvam? What determines this capacity of a student who is ready for uh, gaining the knowledge? Is nothing but a openness of the mind. If suppose I am going to a class of Bhagavad Gita, and already I have decided that Karma Yoga is best for me. I know that Karma Yoga is best for me. I know Dvaita is best for me. I am already listened to this Bhagavad Gita for last 25 years. So I know exactly what is going to come. Now I am going there to test this Guru who is coming out to impart this knowledge. If somebody is going with such a mindset, he is not Siksha Yogya. Yogyata is, you may have your prejudices. You require to leave those prejudices outside in the hall along with your slippers and go in with an open mind. See what is being told, and whether that particular thing, this is how actually the Shravanam is supposed to be done. You go into any lecture, any of these ones that you are going, keep an open mind. Doesn't mean that you will accept everything that is being told, but at least you have to have a open mind. That open mind attitude will make a student, a person, into a Sishya. You know this Sikhism which is there, that is nothing but Sikhism. Sishya in Punjabi, I believe, makes it into Sikhya. Sikhya becomes Sishya. So we are all, in such a terminology, we become Sishya, and Guru Granth Sahib kind of becomes our Guru. Means even when you go to a text, what you require is an open mind of accepting what is being told by the Guru. Such a person becomes a Sishya. So here, um, another important aspect is Sharanagati. he has used the word of I'm giving up my this one. Sharana is something in our society. Sharanagati is done by falling at the feet of the Guru. Feet of the Guru. Physically, whether Arjuna is able to do that to the Krishna, we don't know. But mentally, at least, he has done a Sharanagati. This is the third stage. When such a stage comes only, the teaching can start. So one is moha, second is recognition. Samsara is the first problem. Recognition of moha is another second aspect. Third is Sharanagati. And Arjuna is kind of qualified for all the three aspects in terms of asking Krishna. And that is the reason we have Bhagavad Gita coming from the Lord Krishna. And he has chosen a very right one. We normally chant this Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vaitraikya Panaya Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gitamrita Duhe Namaha. Krishna is the right person who can actually give take out the Amrita, Gita Amritam from the text and give that knowledge. Prapanna Parijataya. So he is such a person that Arjuna is now surrendering to, and in no uncertain times he says, I am your Sishya, you teach me. In no uncertain times he is giving you, and there is a difference between giving an advice and giving a teaching. Advice is kind of a one-off. He is not asking for an advice. What should I do? He says, okay, you fight. And he doesn't know why he has to fight. There is no reason that is given. Advice is a kind of a one-off thing, what is right. Maybe in an emergency that will help, advice will help, but a teaching will make a student independent, a person independent of the Guru. Once the teaching is given, the student need not go back to that Guru once again, because now he is independent. He knows exactly what is required to be done. You know that you give a fish to a person, he can survive for one meal, whereas if you teach him how to fish, then he is free forever. So that is the difference between advice and a teaching. So here, sorry, anybody ask a question?
Yeah, did Arjuna know that Krishna is like Lord?
He knows very
Because
well.
they were colleagues. They were colleagues in school. They
Correct.
were cousins together, and,
Correct.
and almost same age perhaps. And
Correct.
still he's here.
Correct. Yeah. So we have seen this in at some of the places. Yeah. Krishna, as I mentioned, he is not Arjuna is not really confused in terms of what is the nature of Krishna. However, you rightly pointed out they were friends. He addressed him as Sakha also in many places in Mahabharata. Sakha is friend. He says that. But you will find that when he goes to seek help of Krishna in one of the scenes we mentioned, Duryodhana also goes. Duryodhana, out
Yeah.
of pride, sits at the head, near the head of Krishna. Arjuna goes first, but he sits at the feet of Krishna. So the recognition of Krishna as the Lord, or a person who has the knowledge at least, is there in Arjuna. And as I mentioned, people like Vedavyasa knew about Krishna definitely. His own mother, Kunti, knows about Krishna's greatness. They heard about his Leela well before, all of them. So they recognize that fact. Some of the people refuse to accept in the society, like Duryodhana. So when Krishna goes for asking for don't do this war, etc., they try to capture him. So people like Duryodhana don't accept that, but others, that recognition was always there. And here, especially, it appears that Arjuna, after this moha and recognition of the moha, realized that I require now to seek help from Lord Krishna. So that recognition is always there at the background, although they were friends. They appear to be friends.
Thank you.
All right. So, in the last verse of Arjuna, I will quickly read this. Nahi prapasyami mamapanudyat, nahi prapasyami mamapanudyat, yachokamuchoshanamindriyanam, yachokamuchoshanamindriyanam, avapya bhuma vasapatnamruddham, avapya bhuma vasapatnamruddham, राज्यं सुराणापि चाधिपत्यम् राज्यं सुराणामपि चाधिपत्यम्. So here he is coming out and telling, he is the last verse. He says, he recognizes that his sorrow is something which cannot be controlled, which cannot be overcome by his own response. He says, I do not see anything that can remove this sorrow of mine. Nahi prapashyami. I do not see yet apanudhyat. Apanudhyat is that can remove shokam mama, this sorrow of mine. Ucheshana indriyanam. How it is there that it is weakening my very sense organs. I am not able to think, I am not able to stand, I am not able to see. Everything seems to be in a confusing state. Api avapya Shraddham. Api Avapya Shraddham is even after getting Asapatnam Rajyam. Even forget about this kingdom, even if like unparalleled kingdom, even if it is given to me, Bhumau upon this set, Adhipatyam cha Suranam. Not even in this world. Even if I become Indra, I get kingship over the gods, I cannot, my sorrow doesn't seem to be going away, is how I feel. That is how he says. Here Arjuna confesses that grief is so deep and intense that no solution will work. Guruji says, in when such a against this, he says the recognition of the fact that none of the worldly conquers, worldly achievements will help one overcome the sorrow forever. This is the recognition in this verse. He's telling that adhipatyam cha suranam, even even the kingship over the gods, even if you become Indra, my sorrow will not go away. He recognizes the fact that worldly achievements are not the solution for my problem that I have in mind. Is the recognition of Arjuna here. And in 2.9, Sanjaya Uvacha, he comes out and he closes the argument where he will come back and say that Arjuna, after asking for help, asking for Sishyam, he says that I will not fight this war. Still, he will come out and say that, which is verse 9 and 10. These are kind of a last of this introductory verses to the teaching that will come from verse 11. And we will take it up in the next class and start with the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagavan Uvacha, Krishna himself will start the Sankhya Yoga, the highest teaching that is available in Sanatana Dharma. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Thank you.